Hey guys, Coach Alicia here with Craig Dacey Financial Coaching, and today we are going to discuss 3 steps you can take to get ahead of your bills. If you are paid, like most of us, at intervals that are not just once a month, oftentimes people find it really hard to balance out their paychecks to their bills. Say, for instance, your first paycheck is supposed to cover your mortgage, which tends to be our highest bill. What do you do if that paycheck barely covers that mortgage, also leaving room for things like groceries and gas? So today, we are going to discuss what you might could do to get ahead of those bills and ease that headache of imbalance throughout the month. Step 1 is going to be to get organized. It's so important to just have your paychecks laid out with the bills that are due within that paycheck's time frame. Now, if you are using a software like everydollar, you might have noticed that they have a new paycheck planning feature. This is only for the premium users, and this feature kind of helps you lay out those bills, their deadlines, and the paycheck that you would assign them to. Also, other apps like You Need a Budget has a really good, easy way to line up your paychecks with their corresponding bills. But for today, we are going to do this on a good old-fashioned pen and paper or whiteboard and dry erase marker. All right, let's take a look at how this might work. Let's use this theoretical budget as an example. As you can see here, this person has written out their paychecks with the date that they expect these paychecks to come in and the amount in which they expect to receive. Under that, they have written out the bills that they need to pay or the regular expenses that they have. Let's go ahead and fill this out. Let's say that their rent is $12.50 per month. Let's say their utilities are around 200, gas 200 as well. Let's go easy math here. And then keeping up with the $200 theme, let's say they spend $200 within this paycheck on groceries. This leaves them with a total spent or needed of $1,850. Now coming over here, they have spent a total of $630. Now, what do they have left over with each of these? Well, over here, this person has $650. And over here, with their second paycheck of the month, they have $1,870 left over. As you can see, there's quite a bit of imbalance here. Their second paycheck of the month has way more wiggle room than their first paycheck. And that leads us to step number 2. Okay, so the next step is to create a budget buffer in your checking account. And what this is going to do is it is going to create some wiggle room whenever your rent or your mortgage is due. That paycheck comes in, but you already have money set aside to pay your rent or your mortgage. And this is going to create balance throughout your month between each of your paychecks. No more feast or famine between paychecks. Things are just going to be a lot more even throughout the month. So let's take a look at how you might make this work for you. Okay, so going back to our previous example, you might notice that, okay, sure, Alicia, like there's a little imbalance here, but $650 isn't so bad to have to work with for a couple weeks before that next paycheck comes around. And that might be true, but also this is by no means an exhaustive list of bills that this person might have or expenses that this person might have. He or she could have a pet. They could have some debt payments they need to pay off. They might have savings goals. They might have, invitations to go out to dinner with friends or other events like that they want to cover. What's very clear here is that this person is going to have to cut back on a lot more expenses this first half of the month than they would the second half. And so that just creates an imbalance that can really be a headache for a lot of people. So let's look at what this person might do instead. Let's say just for this month, they set aside some extra money to go towards their rent for the following month. So say they set aside half of their rent for this month. That would change their total needed to $1,255 and their total left over $1,245. Now, yes, these numbers are smaller than they were prior, and this month there might have to be some extra things that we maybe cut from our budget or hold back from just for this month. But let's look forward to November at how this might help this person have more balance moving forward. Flip this around. Here we go. I already have November primed and ready to go. Remember, in October, this person set aside $625 with that second paycheck. So I'm going to reflect that here in orange. Now, all they have to do is from this first paycheck, pull $625, and they have their full rent ready to go. Now, coming down here to total, how much do they need from this paycheck now to cover these bills? $1,225, leaving them with $1,275 to work with for the rest of the month. Moving back on over to this second paycheck, we're just going to continue setting aside $625 with this one so we can prepare for December again. Notice everything else is the same, and the total has moved to that $1,255 with $1,245 left over for the rest of the month for other expenses. Now our month is way more balanced, and we don't have to worry about cutting certain expenses with this first part of the month so that we can spend them all in the second half of the month. Okay, so this strategy is not just for those who are paid twice a month. It is for people who are also paid weekly, especially for those who are paid weekly, because what they can often find is that first paycheck of the week is also when their mortgage or rent is due, and all of their money is going to their mortgage or rent. What this is going to do is it's going to make it to where they already have that money ready to go. They can pay their mortgage, and maybe this person can set aside a quarter of their rent with each of their paychecks. Moving on to step number 3. This is one that I recommend not just for people who are paid at intervals other than once a month, but also for those who are paid once a month. This is going to help you end the paycheck to paycheck cycle of the end of the month comes, you have $0. It's going to end that. You're always going to have money set aside, ready to go. No more paycheck to paycheck. What is this strategy? It is to get a month ahead on your spending. And what this means is your budget buffer has now moved from just covering your mortgage or your rent to covering an entire month. Once you realize you have a month's worth of money set aside in your budget buffer, what you can start doing is paying yourself at the beginning of every month. Suddenly, your entire month is completely funded. You don't have to worry about setting aside certain increments with each paycheck. Instead, what you're going to start doing is you're going to be putting your entire paychecks into a budget buffer savings account, setting it aside so it's waiting its turn for the next month. Next month rolls around, pull that money over. You've now paid yourself for the entire month. I hope this helps. Of course, I couldn't bring up every single situation. Personal finances are personal for a reason. There's a lot of nuance. If this sounds like something that you are interested in trying and you're just having a hard time figuring it out, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We will leave a link to my calendar below. I'd be happy to set up a free call with you to get you moving in the right direction. And if you have any questions, of course, leave them in the comments below. All right. Thanks, guys.